Hey everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day, and today I'll be reviewing The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is Sally Thorne's debut novel, which is surprising to me because I found it to be a very impressive book. The Hating Game is about these two people who work at a publishing company and there's a new promotion, and these two people are competing for this new promotion, which adds stress to their already stressful hate relationship. And these two people are already competitive to begin with, and so this new promotion just adds fuel to the fire. And the book follows the relationship between these two people, and I'm doing a very, very bad job of selling the plot of this book. So just know that I'm not doing it very much justice, but I could not put this book down. I started this book the weekend before I had my first psychology exam, and that was such a mistake. Why did I do that? I ended up not reading my psychology textbook, and I ended up reading this book forever and ever. I'm a responsible student, I swear. The Hating Game is honestly everything I want in a contemporary book like ever. It's cute, and it's funny, and it's engaging, and it's witty, and it's emotional, and Sally Thorne balances all of these components so well, which is why I find it so impressive that this is her debut novel. The Hating Game reminded me so much of Rainbow Rowell and Stephanie Perkins mixed together in the best way possible. The humor and the wit of the writing mixed with how low-key melodramatic the plot was reminded me a lot of Stephanie Perkins, but the dialogue and the word choice of that dialogue, like what the characters said and how they said it, reminded me so much of Rainbow Rowell's books. And I can't even tell you why. There's just something about Rainbow Rowell's dialogue that really sticks with me as a reader, that impacts me, and Sally Thorne had that. And if you know how I feel about Rainbow Rowell, then you guys know that I think of Rainbow Rowell as the queen of dialogue. So by comparing Sally Thorne's dialogue to Rainbow Rowell's dialogue, that is very generous praise. So The Hating Game is mainly about these two main characters, Lucy and Josh, and I adored both of them so much. They were both extremely charming and very likable. The way Lucy's character was written made her so easy to relate to and to sympathize with, and Josh brought such a warmth to the story in his interactions with Lucy. The characters outside of Lucy and Josh weren't developed particularly well, and they didn't get much screen time either, so honestly, it was like secondary characters kind of didn't exist. And had I not been so in love with the two main characters, I probably would have been more upset by this, but because I loved Lucy and Josh so much, like how much I loved those two characters kind of made up for the fact that there weren't that many other characters to love. It's a little hard to review this book because I loved it so much. And I'm sure there are things to criticize. There are always things to criticize in books, but I can't think of anything immediately, like off the top of my head. I mean, admittedly, it has been a few weeks since I read this book, but the main impression that it left me with was just how much I loved it and how much I wanted to reread it. I just felt so attached to it so quickly. If I were pressed to think of things to criticize besides how invisible the secondary characters were, I would say that there's not a lot of diversity in the characters. Like, the two main characters are both white, cisgender, heterosexual people. I mean, to my memory they are. And to my memory, I can't think of any of the secondary characters that were diverse either. And if they were diverse, then it wasn't talked about enough to leave an impression on me. There's also mention of unwanted sexual harassment directed to Lucy from one of her superiors, and that's never really fixed or really properly addressed, I don't think, in the book. So yeah, those are things that could have been better in this book. But like I said before, I was just so swept up in my love affair with this book that I couldn't really register the things that I didn't like. But yeah, that's like essentially all I wanted to say about this book, was that I loved it so much, and that if you love Rainbow Rowell or Stephanie Perkins, you'll probably love it too. If you love contemporary books that are romantic and funny and emotional and engaging, then this is the book for you. There's like no better choice, I feel, out of like recent releases that you could read that would satisfy all these cravings. Like, this is exactly my type of book, I feel. And if I were to write a book, I would want it to be like this one, except, you know, with diversity. I'm so sad that there aren't more Sally Thorne books to read, because after I finished this one, I wanted to read everything she'd ever written. Let me know if you've read this book, and if you did, what you thought about it. I would love to know. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll have a fantastic day, and happy reading. Goodbye.